What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another transfer update video where we'll discuss the latest goings on and off at Arsenal. Pretty quiet at the moment. Still haven't officially sold a player or bought a player yet in this summer transfer window. Now, I know the window has only been open a few days, but there are a number of clubs doing business and clubs that have already done business. And I always say my focus is on Arsenal, not other clubs. So I do want to see Arsenal get moving and shaking with these transfers over the next days and weeks. I know the Euros are here. Copa America starts this week, but deals still can be done. We'll start off by saying happy birthday to Gabriel Martinelli. Turns 23 today. Let's hope he can have a much better season than last season. The season before he was brilliant. Last season, not so good. He's away with Brazil, about to start the Copa America, so happy birthday to him. A happy birthday to a former favourite of mine. Some of you called me his lawyer at times. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang turns 35 today. 163 appearances, 92 goals, 21 assists. The fastest Arsenal player to ever get to 50 Premier League goals. Golden Boot winner in 18-19. One FA Cup and one Community Shield. Listen, I know a lot of people used to get at me and say, oh, you're his lawyer. But I think you can see now in this transfer window and previous transfer windows, those kind of players are so difficult to find nowadays. He's a maverick of a striker, and we need a goal scorer like that at the football club now. The kind of player that can win you a game at any given moment. And you wish that we had somebody like him up front at the moment. So yeah, big up Oba on his birthday, and big up man like Gabriel Martinelli. Premier League fixtures came out this morning, people. Listen, people make a big deal out of the fixtures. I don't get too caught up in them. I do understand that, the way the fixtures are can help you. I think the most important thing really is the start of the season, because what you don't want to do is play a few monster games in the first month, drop points, and you're playing catch up already. I suppose you do want to get off to a quick start, so you don't want to play the biggest opposition. One thing that I like to do, and something that has come back to get us a few times over the last few years, I like to play the big teams away from home in the first half of the season, because what you don't want is in the last couple of months you got to go to the Etihad and go to Anfield and places like that. So that's what I look for. But Arsenal will start the Premier League next season against Wolves at home, Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Emirates Stadium. And listen, I'll be honest, every game in the Premier League can cause you problems, but let's be realistic. If we start properly and we get our transfer business done, this should be a game that we win. We'll be totally honest. Listen, anything can happen in the Premier League. We know that. But Wolves at home is a very good start. We're at home. It's not one of the big clubs. Like I said, if we do our transfer business correctly, I would hope that we would beat Wolves at home. So the first month of the season, Wolves at home, Aston Villa away. That'll be a tough game. Obviously, Unai Emery took 6 points off us last season, and they are in the Champions League. And then Brighton at home. So not a bad start, the first three. September, Tottenham away, Man City away, and Leicester at home. That'll be a tricky month. Just to put into context, September, October, and November all have international breaks, which is frustrating. Because, there's times where you get momentum. And listen, I'm not going to go through all the fixtures. I've brought it up on the screen there. Obviously, the last month of the season, Bournemouth at home, Liverpool away, Newcastle at home, Southampton away. Not a bad month to finish off if we were in a good position. Cherry picking the games, obviously, Tottenham away in September, North London derby, Man City away straight after, Liverpool at home in October, Chelsea away in November, Man United at home at the start of December, second North London derby back at the Emirates in January, City at home in February. By the start of February, we will have already played Man City twice, which could be a good thing. Man United at Old Trafford in March, Chelsea at home in March, that could be a tricky month, and then Liverpool away in May. We finish the season away at Southampton. So listen, it's important we get off to a flying start, beat Wolves, and then take it from there. But listen, a lot of what happens in that start to the season will be down to what happens in this transfer window. Now, what is happening with Arsenal in the transfer window? Let's talk about today. The big link to Arsenal today is Mark Guehi of Crystal Palace. England international centre-back. You will have seen him play the other day as England played against Serbia. 23 years of age and being linked with a move away from Crystal Palace. Now, I thought he had a fantastic game the other night against two very tall physical strikers in Mitrovic and Vlahovic. People were saying the area that he may struggle is in the air. He's 5'11", not the tallest of centre-backs, really. Obviously came through the Chelsea system, went out on loan to Swansea, did well in the Championship, played for England under 21s, ended up joining Crystal Palace on a permanent deal. He's been there for 3 seasons, 36 games, then 37 games. Last season, he did miss 18 games through injury, had an operation, and he did miss 13 games. So, you know, we always have to be a little bit wary of that as Arsenal fans. We don't want injury-prone players. But listen, a good defender, quick, comfortable on the ball, and I think somebody that would offer us genuine competition to the two centre-backs that we've got, but also high-quality cover if he wasn't in the team. Caught offside. Sources with a close understanding of the situation have told Caught Offside that Arsenal and Newcastle are keen on Mark Guehi, and both clubs could try to get negotiations going by making opening bids for the player. Crystal Palace are understood to value Guehi at around £50 million, which Arsenal and Newcastle consider too high, which is interesting. 23, England international, centre-back with a lot of pace, Premier League proven. I think £50 million would probably be the going rate, really, when you look at what players are going for nowadays. Listen, I think it'd be a fantastic signing. People will be saying, look, with Gabriel and Saliba, are you going to get a high-quality centre-back to come to the club if he doesn't feel he can get in the team? But the reality is, you look at Man City, they've got Stones and Diaz, they've got Akanji, they've got Vardiol, they've got Nathan Ake, they've got 40, 50 million pound players on the bench. They're the levels that we have to aspire to. Now, Gabriel and Saliba were rock solid for us last season, but Saliba played for France last night, had a fantastic game, by the way, kept a clean sheet. But he played a lot of football. He's playing a lot of football over the summer. Gabriel the same. He's gone to the Copa America. If one of those two was out long term, is Kivior good enough to step in? Would you want to move Ben White back to centre-back and put Tomiyasu right back? Ideally, you don't want to shift the whole back four. Somebody like Mark Guehi, I think, would be a fantastic signing. I've said before I like Diamande at Sporting Lisbon. I think Guehi at 50 million would actually represent good value. When you think we paid 50 million for Ben White, I think this would represent similar business. So me personally, I wouldn't have a problem with Arsenal spending 50 million. I suppose the argument would be, will Arsenal spend that much money on a position that doesn't seem to be classed as high priority at the moment? So we'll see how that one develops. Let me know in the comments, would you be happy with that move? Now, let's talk strikers. I'm concerned. I'm going to be honest. People will be saying it's early in the window. Don't panic. Give them time. Euros hasn't finished. Copa America hasn't finished. There's a lot of names that are potentially available at the moment, but the names seem to be trickling off the list. And I've suggested names. Some people have agreed with them. Some people have disagreed with them. Now, there's a story going out today, coming from The Athletic, that Arsenal will prioritise a central midfielder ahead of a striker this summer. Arsenal did make a move for Benjamin Sesko, who decided to renew his contract at RB Leipzig, despite multiple talks with his agent. The Athletic understands that a move for Victor Osimhen is unlikely unless Napoli agree to bring down their price tag considerably. His agent has spoken to Edu in the past year about a potential move, and he's very keen to go to the Premier League after rejecting a second offer from Saudi Arabia. Arsenal are not willing to pay the £110 million release clause. They do like Osimhen, but would need the price to be considerably reduced. Now, what are your thoughts on that? Victor Osimhen, we've spoken about in time and time again. There was reports yesterday Arsenal are going to go for him. They're going to make an offer. It's going to be lower than the release clause. Now the reports coming out today are that Arsenal are in no hurry to make a move or make an offer for Victor Osimhen, which is concerning. As I said, we had a list probably a month ago of 5 or 6 strikers, and some of you pick, some of them, whether that be Gyökeres, whether that be Osimhen, Ivan Toney, Sesko, Isak. Now, we're getting into a situation now where names are starting to disappear. Sesko has renewed his contract. That's off the table for at least 12 months. Isak looks very unlikely. Arsenal are not going to spend that kind of money this summer, in my opinion. You've then got Victor Osimhen, who it looks like we're not going to pay the release clause unless Napoli reduce it. And why would Napoli reduce it heavily? I don't think they're in financial difficulty. Then yesterday, the news comes out that Tottenham have apparently had a £40 million rejected, £40 million bid rejected for Ivan Toney, with rumours that Brentford would be willing to sell him for £55 million. Now, I've said on this channel multiple times, I would sign Ivan Toney this summer for £55 million, a no-brainer. Why? Because he's Premier League proven, he has a 20-goal season in the league under his belt, he's strong and he's aggressive, and it's not a difficult deal to get done. Now, there are other names out there. I would love to see Arsenal sign Isak. It's not going to happen. We're not spending that money this summer. Osimhen looks unlikely. Gyökeres, we don't seem to be linked with him at all at the moment. He's had a small operation on his knee. Apparently, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. 85 million release clause. So you're starting to go down the list. We were linked with Dovbyk yesterday. £33 million release clause, 24 goals, top goal scorer in Spain last season. Will Arsenal make a move for him? Or are you concerned that we're simply going to say Havertz number 1, Jesus number 2, and run with that narrative next season? Because it does feel like that's the direction that we're heading in, and that concerns me. Look, what do you guys think regarding the striker market? Should we move for Ivan Toney? Should we break the bank for Victor Osimhen? Should we try and get Isak, or are they simply not realistic and not attainable? To me, if you can't get those £100 million players, you've then got to look down the line at a Toney, at a Dovbyk, at somebody else. I think Arsenal do need to buy a striker this summer, a prolific goal scorer. But let me know what you guys think. And finally, Guehi, people, the Dubai Cup legend who saved all the penalties. He is set to sign a new contract to Arsenal. There were rumours that Arsenal were going to sell him this summer, but he's set to sign a new deal. Estonia international. Arsenal could be set to loan him out. He's our third choice keeper at the moment. Obviously, that could change if Ramsdale goes. David Raya's deal set to become permanent over the next week or so. So Guehi will sign a new contract. People, get in the comments. Let me know about what we've spoken about today. Would you sign Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace? Thoughts on the fact that it looks like our main priority could be midfield rather than a striker? And Tottenham making an offer for Ivan Toney. Should we be in that race, or should we concentrate elsewhere? Let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for giving up your time, and I will see you all soon, people. Bless.